Hello and welcome everybody. We have the global lab patch notes for March 13th, 2026. Let's get right into it. We have some class modifications and changes on Tamer on the High Long. There was an issue with the stun effect of the Lion's Wrath skill not being applied to the first and last hit. This has been fixed. On Meiwa, there was an issue where the forward guard and air smash effects were not applied in the Cloud Stab skill. Kunoichi and Ninja, they fixed an issue where the Ninja evasion skill would intermittently be used first when attempting to chain another skill containing a directional key after the Oni step. Asian fixed an issue where the damage was not applied to a certain magic area. Oh, this is Witch. So on Witch, there was an issue where damage was not applied or skill specialization did not activate if the character was close to terrain when the multi-magic missile was activated with an elemental effect. Dracania Azur's Onslaught. On Succession, there was an issue where the Onslaught skill super armor effect was applied until the end of the movement, so it lingered. And then also there was an issue with the movement distance on the Azur Onslaught still being reduced. This has now also been fixed. Then we have a new Edania Party Hunting Ground, Black Energy Floodlands. So the Black Energy Floodlands will be added to the Edania region. The Dark Energy Floodlands are part of hunting grounds scattered throughout Edania, structured to be influenced by the Edana of each region. As their party hunting grounds, Marnie's Secret Realm cannot be used. However, the area is designed to be categorized by region, allowing players to resume hunting in a different area if the Edana ruling that region displays an aggressive attitude. In this update, Dark Energy Floodlands hunting grounds are added, and the effects of the Edana's Blessing are also applied separately to each area. So overall, it seems to be the same hunting ground, but spread on different zones. So we have one in Jordine's area, one in Orbita, and one in Sephiroth. So Etherion, Orbita, Sephiroth. There doesn't seem to be one for Rizalka, which is a bit of a surprise. So ideally, the monsters are level 66. Listed stats are 385, 450, so sheet 385, sheet 450 DP. Final stats 1,850 starting AP, starting DP 760, with the limit being at 1,880. The mobs do a knockdown bound effect. So overall, we have Encelar's Karshan and Remnants of Kaphras fusing into Source of Dark Energy. It stains the surrounding with a twisted curtain. The failed Adanas who were captivated by that overwhelming magical power, unable to break free from the curtain, it remains around as an empty shell. So here we have the major spoils, pretty much all Deba rings, as we expect from the most Edana zones. We do have the Herald's Crystal, the Han Crystal, and the Silent Primeval Crystal. The other one does not seem to be the Distorted does not seem to be on the drop table at all. That is quite interesting to see. We have different trash loot. We have the Corrupted Armor Shard with 100,507 silver. And then we have a Faded Black Aura with a whopping 597,680. Kind of curious to see how that goes. There is some specific Agris consumption. So we have the different knights from the possessed by the Black Spirit consuming 11 Agris, but then also consumed by Dark Energy Titan, Manticore, and Beelzebub, and fragments of the Demon King, Encelar, Karshan, and Kaphras. They do not consume, so there does seem to be some spawn mechanics for the bosses appearing. Titles have been added for defeating the monsters in the zone. So here we have 5,000, 10,000, 20, and 30,000. The number of stuffed items obtained from the Edania Hunting grounds have also been changed. So when you acquire the Aura of Edania, a red effect will appear on your character. To be honest, they just need to increase the time on the Aura of Edania. It does not feel fun. Either way, there's also some damage changes on the hunting grounds. So the coral crabs slime attack damage has been reduced by 40%. The frequency of the slime attack has been reduced by 40%. On the elephants, the stomp attack damage has been increased by 25. The damage on the short charge attack by 50. The damage of the rock elephant stomp attack has been increased by 500%. That is... Wait. I'm guessing that's the frequency? The damage of the boss rock elephant's short attack range has been increased by 300. And finally, the long charge attack on the boss has also been increased by 280. And then finally, after the hunting, after killing a golden leaf snake, the effect has been improved to remain on the corpse, so you can definitely see the snake corpse a little bit better. In previous update, they significantly reduced the time required for house rentals and level 1 upgrades. They've also removed the wait time for all level 1 house rentals now. So previously it would take you 5 seconds, and this has now been set to be instant. Then we have some item changes. The description of untradeable upgraded Blackstar weapons has been updated to state that it was crafted by upgrading untradeable equipment. Changes have also been made so that the season graduation is possible regardless of whether you possess time-infused shards. Accordingly, the item binding setting has been changed from character binding to family binding again. Kind of funny, they keep swapping this around. Then we have other monster zones. So the monsters appearing in the lower Sakraya have been changed. If the lower level monsters miss an adventurer, the re-recognition range has been increased by 66% compared to the previous, and the detection range of the lower level monsters that quickly chase adventurers has been changed to be the same as that of the Kuraba. Background NPCs and background NPCs, effects, and cutscenes. So the warm spring is coming back. The fluttering cherry blossom trees are going to blossom all over the world again. War of the Roses, the buff icons have been changed to make it easier to check the buff effects of the sanctuary. So 1 to 7, you can see the buffs here. Then we have a UI change. They've improved the UI for opening special items. So the roulette style or slot machine style, it seems to have now been changed to, well, the open continuously button is now activated, and it has been improved to display the total number of boxes held and the number of boxes opened. So it'll just keep counting up so you actually know how many you've already opened. The name of the box currently open is displayed, and the color in the box name is shown according to the item grade as well. Then another thing that I'm actually looking forward to, because I've actually had to look up quite a few of these multiple times. So for the processing, we're going to get a knowledge entry. So at the side, the processing UI will give you suggested recipes. So here you can select your recipe or anything that you need. You can search for it just like during alchemy and cooking, and then it'll display the items used. Overall, definitely a nice thing. I've had to check multiple times. It is definitely nice to get that. So a filter button has been added. The list of the process knowledge has been improved to be sorted by alphabetical order. The processing UI has also been improved to allow the viewing of descriptions, selectable knowledge at the bottom. Pretty much everything I just said, similar to cooking and alchemy. They've also improved the way that the number of items that can be processed during bulk processing is shown in the life skill area as well, so you can plan ahead from that. And the recently successful processing UI for cooking and alchemy has been changed to be the same. Yeah, overall, same thing again. System-wise, when using a character movement function to an area without a node manager, the system has been changed so that you move to the location indicated by right-clicking the base on the world map. And when applying to participate in Blue Battlefield while the War of the Roses is in progress, a notification message has been added stating that the application can only be made after the war has ended. So right now it currently just says can only be done by the leading guild. Now it will actually say you need to wait for War of the Roses to end. Finally, we get to fixes and changes. On Shy, there was an issue with leg outlines being awkwardly exposed on slopes when wearing the tornado costume. On Seraph, they fixed something with the Judgment outfit, stocking-style underwear. Black Shrine, this I think is Odoshini. They fixed an issue where the character would die from attacks by monsters summoned by... Oh no, that's actually Sangoon. Even after Sangoon has been defeated. Actually, that could be Bari. But we'll see on when it hits NAU and gets a straight translation. Otherwise, they fixed an issue where some mechanics were not proceeding normally during battles in the Odoshini. Oh, there we go. They also fixed an issue where monsters summoned during the Black Shrine Hongwei party, Uturi, could not be seen, but were still being targeted for an attack. They fixed an issue where weapons could be switched when using Capturing Rope or Eternal Shining Rope to capture wild horses. They also fixed an issue where the number of raids was not reflected when the client was terminated intermittently while guild raid quests was in progress. They also fixed some issue where movement was impossible and the UI could not be opened when attempting to move between regions through the Magnus. Fixed some issues with skill demonstration NPCs and the skill UI moved unnaturally. They also fixed an issue where the increased combat skill experience gain effect from the Phoenix tiers was not reflected in the My Info. Finally, or not finally, but a bit more, issue of a UI that would appear unnatural depending on the part clicked when extracting costumes. They also fixed an issue where it was not possible to interact with a knowledge acquisition object located to the right of Nymphomare Castle. Then an issue with a danger notification was not displayed when using detachable like health gauge during an occupation battle. They fixed an issue where items could not be sold to the guild shop were directed to the wrong location when using the nearby merchant feature. Sakraya Ruins, there was an issue where the icons for certain items obtainable from the upper floors were unnatural. Then the icon for, I think that's a Sacred Soul Collector title, has been modified to match the icons of other title items. Fixed an issue with the description for quests that could not be processed or displayed in the pet UI. And then finally, some typos in the descriptions regarding acquisition locations for some of the crystals below. So we have the Gervish, Makalod, and Whom, and the Secret Darkness crystal. I believe that's the Frozen Cold, that's the Frozen Bitterness. Cruel Slaughter crystal, that's the Brutal Decimation. So the Land of Morning Light crystal. And then finally, the different Phoenix crystals. So we have the lower tier Phoenix, Hate, and Girin. Overall, nothing too bad. With the TLDR, fixes and changes, quite a few small changes. Overall, the processing thing is really nice. I've had to look up a few things like what was milk, what was cheese, what was cream. Like this is just a nice thing to be able to quickly check without having to go off the game to a website. The UI thing, it's very little. I've actually started doing the auto opening. It's kind of relaxing just to see it cycle through. Now we at least have some feedback. The cherry blossoms coming back, definitely a nice thing. Time reduction there, also great. The hunting, I'm really torn on this. The aura of Edania for 10 seconds can be an absolute pain in the butt. I do feel like they just need to extend this buff a little bit, because if you're dodging or being forced to roll by the mob, you lose so much time on the buff, and then without it, you don't do damage. I'm hoping that they fix that a bit. Otherwise, the zone actually looks quite interesting. You have 3 times the same zone across vastly different areas, meaning that if, for example, the Edania of Ethereum doesn't like you grinding there, you can just move on, or in general, if you want to move on from another player. Otherwise, it's the same zone in vastly different areas, so if you find a spot, you can definitely use it. Otherwise, the fact that you can get the Han Crystal, the Herald's Crystal, and the Silent Primeval Crystal without the distorted, very, very interesting to see. It might actually become a popular one to try to get those silent crystals if you still need them. Otherwise, overall, it looks quite interesting with a sort of area effect. Could be that there's multiple area effects. I mean, we see some here in the background, at least in the one picture, but we're going to have to see the details once it comes out. It does seem to be like a sort of circle. You fight in a circle with a group, and they do mention group party spot, but I'm not seeing the actual amount. Yeah, overall, it doesn't show if it's 1, 2, or 3. I can't actually tell right now, but I guess we'll also have to see on that, because it is definitely not very clear if it is. And with that, we already have everything. If you want to, try to give a comment on what castle is being displayed here from Edania. I would be curious if you happen to recognize it. And otherwise, I wish you a pleasant day and good luck on all your tabs.